everyone, my name is Amber Kennedy. I am the creator of Behind the Business. Behind the Business is a short interview series where I meet our local business owners and operators and just discuss with them a little bit about what they do, who they are, all that sort of fun stuff. So today I have Jake with me. Jake, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what your business is?
Well, I'm Philly Cheese Jakes. I'm Jake Cherski. I own and operate Philly Cheese Jakes. We've been in business since October 3rd, 2013. And yeah, that's it. Just living the dream.
Perfect. What got you started in the business?
I was in car sales for 17 years. And
That's a jump.
Yeah, and I just kind of lost a passion for it, and just not as much my choice. I lost a passion, so my performance wasn't there. So I basically just got weaned out of that business real quick, and went through a little blip in my life where my wife and I split up, and so then you're the single dad of 3 and that whole thing. And I went into the Goodwill Center looking for, what can I do? I thought maybe going back to school, and she said, well, you're 40. What are you going to do in school? And I thought sports had been, because with my involvement with the Sarnia Imperials, I had been doing things for quite a while, from the business side of that. So I thought that, and she said, really, you're going to go to school for 2 years. She said, do you have anything that if you could do any job in the world? And I said, I wanted Philly Cheese Jakes, because I already had this in my head for 2 or 3 years. I had a menu down. She said, tell me about Philly Cheese Jakes. And so I did. She goes, oh my gosh, okay. So she said, I can't help you now, but once your severance is finished, from your severance pay. So I just took time off and did more research on it, because I kind of thought that's the way I would go. And sure enough, after that all finished up, I went to the Sarnia Business Development in Sarnia here, and they kind of sat me down and said, let's do this. And here we are.
You make it sound so easy.
If you want to do something, it's easy, but
that's a very good point.
But there's always hard work to everything, and if you don't want to put in the hard work, then things are going to be harder, and it's just brought on upon yourself. It's not really hard work if it's something that you truly want, and you're going to get hurdles, you're going to get obstacles, and you just have to overcome them. And you just overcome it, because that's something that you want.
See? I love it, because and I tell everybody this, my favorite part about doing these interviews is as soon as you ask someone about their business, they just light up.
Yeah.
Like, they love it, and it's my absolute favorite part, because it's just, you get to see so much love from them, because it's like, their businesses are their babies. Like, they might have kids, but those kids are irrelevant right now.
Yeah, that's so true.
Right?
Yeah.
Love them, but business, right?
Right, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, great to hear that. So my question next for you is, what kind of products do you offer? So tell us a little bit about your menu.
Oh my gosh, my menu. So we have the pre-COVID menu, and then the present post-COVID, hopefully post one day. But basically, my menu, the whole premise of this was to be, originally was, I wanted a food truck.
Yeah.
So, and I wanted to serve hot sandwiches. Everyone's got cold sandwiches, so I wanted to do a hot sandwich place. So what came to mind was a Philly cheesesteak. So we kind of stayed true to form, and then I wanted to make sure that we offered a lot of feel-good sandwiches, kind of like soul food-ish, but in a sandwich. So we offer Philly cheesesteaks, a pulled pork sandwich. I invented a Pedro, it's called. I'll get back to that in a second. We have
I'm interested now.
Yeah, we have a chicken parm sandwich. We do chili cheese nachos, jumbo footlong hot dogs, jumbo footlong chili cheese dogs that are outstanding. They're the biggest ones in town.
Yeah.
Our price point is on point for sure. We don't have a huge staff, so I don't have to worry about trying to make that extra money to pay those people. I just work harder so I can keep the cost down. We offer potato salad, coleslaw. I think we've dabbled in a few things, like a little bit of a cold sandwich thing, like a deli counter, where we had meat sticks and that, but that kind of went on the wayside. It wasn't busy enough to justify it. Getting back to the Pedro,
Yeah.
So the Pedro is one time I was making the Cuban sandwiches, and so they sold okay and good enough to kind of keep them around. But then I started running out of. Well, it's just my co-op store.
Okay.
Yeah, he's okay. Don't walk in front of there. It was selling, it was doing okay, and then I started running out of product and stuff. So then we started to, not compromise, but try to, what can I do to put that in there? I ran out of pork loin, and then someone said, well, why don't you just use your pulled pork, Jake? Like my regulars are, everyone has regulars in the food industry, in bars, and I have a cult-like loyal following.
Love it.
We're like a big family here, and I really preach that a lot. It's like when you come into Philly Cheesesteaks, it's a different experience. I'm not pretty. People aren't coming to see me. The place.
Oh, really? You dressed up and everything?
I did dress up for you.
Thank
but,
you.
but we're not trying to impress through visual. We're trying to impress through your stomach and giving you great food at great prices. And that's always kind of what I wanted to do here at this restaurant, was offer something that other people weren't. And everyone says that they do, but customer service is so huge, and that's something that we do well here. When you come into Philly Cheesesteaks, I wanted, like when we opened up, I wanted you to come in and all your worries just disappear. Just for the time that you were in here, so it was like a little safe haven where you could just come in and exhale. And there's things that we did, you can't see it on the wall, but that wall over there where it says wow. So when you come in from that door, the first thing that you saw my ice cream cooler, but the first thing that you saw was wow. So when people read that, when you read something, you say it in your head. So the first words that you were saying when you came into Philly Cheesesteaks was wow. So
I love that.
it was just something that it was like people were just going to change their whole belief, their whole frame of mind that day for those very few minutes that they come in. And then I'm a very social guy, so when you're ordering food,
you're in the right business.
But sometimes I talk too much. Be like, okay, I gotta go. Let me tell you one more story.
Especially now, right?
Yeah. So, but it was just one of those things that I wanted people to come in and just exhale, because I truly care about people in general. I want the best for everybody as best we can, because everyone has a horrible portion to their life. I don't care who you are. Every single person in this world has had something happen that could dictate whether they succeed or whether they fail in life. And not that you're going to market. Come to Philly Cheesesteaks where you can get counseling. I'm not looking for that.
You're not a counselor?
Well, I think I might be sometimes.
A part-time counselor?
I help a lot of people out. Like, it's just the ability to listen and to care about other people. At the end of the day, that's all it is. And I wanted to do that through food. Yeah. And so, and I think that's
really good way to do it. Food makes people happy.
It does, and I think it's a true way that it's helped me in my business, is the ability to truly care about people. It's just, I'm not looking for your $5 or $10.
Yeah.
I'm looking for that friendship. I'm looking for repeat business, obviously. So there is a portion of that. I have to do this to get that. But at the end of the day, I mean, there's so many first-time customers that have come in and they just end up pouring out their heart to you, and it's just like, aw. Like I remember pre-COVID, one time a lady came in. This is my first time in here. We had the little banter and went through the menu, and she ended up telling me that she had lost a couple family members within 3 months, and her eyes started to water up. And it was just a matter of, I said, you need a hug? Like that. She goes, I would love a hug. And so I gave her a big hug, and that was just that was the best part of the day, is knowing that that person came in for some reason. The universe said, you got to go to Philly Cheesesteaks today. Don't know why, and she came in, and I think she just needed to meet someone like me at that time. And I'm a big believer of things happen for a reason, And
I agree,
so that's
yeah.
so back to Pedro. So I was running out of stuff.
Yeah.
This is how it happens. Yeah. So I was running out of stuff. Long story short, after we got some regulars to give me some, hey, why don't you do this and why don't you do that? So we've made a pulled pork sandwich with Swiss cheese on the top, dill pickles on the bottom, and then a garlic dill mayo sauce.
Interesting.
Without the barbecue sauce.
Okay.
And that sandwich is the best sandwich on the planet right now. Only because I say that for two reasons. If you like those flavors, A.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
If you don't, then it'll be the worst. But secondly, it's a magical sandwich.
Okay.
And I say that because the way I build my sandwiches, they're like a canoe.
Okay.
And so I cut it in half, but I split it like a V, and then I fill it. And then the cheese is there. It's not on the top of the sandwich with the bun covering it. So I do the same thing with the Pedro. And if you take the Pedro and you put the top of the bun and bite it flat instead of like a canoe, if you bite it flat, top of the bun to the roof of your mouth, take a bite, and then you flip it 180 degrees so the bottom of the bun is at the roof of your mouth, it tastes like two different sandwiches.
Is the way you layer it?
I think it's because of the way, because everything's not together, because I've split everything up.
Yeah.
I wanted crunch on the
That
bottom.
makes sense, yeah.
So I think it's where the pickles hit your taste buds at the different bites. But the best part about it is you have two shots to like it. So as long as you like the flavors, some people like a stronger taste, some people like the more mild taste.
You can decide how you're eating your sandwich.
And I didn't do it on purpose. A customer told me that. One of my regular customers, he said, Jake, this thing tastes like a different sandwich. What'd you do to it? I go, nothing. And then we figured out that he was biting it, he was rotating it when he ate it.
What a strange realization that would be.
Yeah. I didn't get it, but it was.
But it makes sense.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. So I can honestly say I don't think there's another sandwich in Sarnia like that.
I definitely can't think of any personally.
No, so that was fun. So that's a Pedro.
I love that.
So then what we've done since COVID, basically we got into customizing keto meals.
Okay.
We've started doing.
It's a big one right now.
Yeah, we've started doing senior pre-made meals. And we didn't want to do frozen for the purpose of your quality lacks frozen food. And you can be a great a chef, you can be a great cook, you can be whatever you want. I think just freezing something takes a little bit out of it.
Totally.
So what we wanted to do is we wanted to offer a weekly delivery. So they would call us on Friday, and then we make and bring their meals to them on Sunday. And then they have it for the week, and then we just do it weekly. So we've been doing that, and it's slowish to start. People are kind of getting on. Some people just want a 2-week service, so then they say, "Well, we'll just freeze these." And that's okay. That's up to
their
them.
choice, right?
Yeah. But what I've offered instead of that, because a lot of seniors in this case, they get paid once a month.
Right.
So what they want to do is they want to try to budget. So what we've offered is pay us for the month, and I'll just bring you your weekly meals. There's no delivery charge. We don't charge extra. So we'll just bring your weekly meals so you can just constantly just feed it. You don't have to freeze. You don't have to take up room. You can see what it is.
Wait, right?
Yeah. So that's something that we've started offering, and then our family meals, which have been incredible. So
especially right now.
Yeah. Well, everyone's home.
Exactly. Right. How can I feed the family? I don't want to cook today.
Yeah,
what
exactly. And that's I try to keep everything around like a $10 per head type thing if I can. Keto meals are like $12.60, but it's a full pound portion. It's not they're a big portion. Our portions are never an issue here for anything that I do. All our portions are very generous. But we do roast beef dinners, shepherd's pies, lasagnas, pasta dinners. So all soul food, and not soul food, but good for the soul food.
Yep.
So what's nice about that is we charge at the max $40, and I'll tell you right now, and anybody who's ordered from us will tell you right now that your dinner for $4 for $40 is feeding 6. you're definitively gonna have leftovers. I mean, unless everyone eats like me, then you won't. But there's got to be someone in the family that doesn't.
Yeah.
So it's
If not, just order two.
yeah. At $40, it's not.
That's not.
And I mean,
outrageous
everything's homemade. Like our beef we get locally, our produce we get locally. There's a few things. Our food supplier for our dry goods and whatnot. The closest one to us is Rico in Strathroy.
Yeah.
So we try to stay as local as we possibly can to get everything. But I have one freezer. We don't freeze anything. It literally comes right from out of the package into the oven as soon as I bring it into the shop. It might stay overnight if I got the meat late
How
at
dare
night.
you,
I
one
know.
whole night.
Yeah, exactly. So I think with that, the flavor comes out in it.
Yeah.
I got a great process. My gravy and sauces are like on point, and you have to take that time. Talking to one of my buddies, he's like, Jake, why don't you just get the gravy mix and just add water and whip it up? And I'm like, dude.
It just drives the authenticity of it.
Yeah, and I'm looking like my gravy's like it's almost like a runny pudding. It's like it's really it's
Interesting way to describe gravy.
But it's like when I pour it out, it's velvety. It's like it's a
The
good.
best kind of gravy.
I think so.
Yeah.
And you know we go out of our way to take the even so I take the au jus from my roast and we let it sit overnight so the fat separates. Then we take all the fat out of it. And I understand.
That's really smart.
I understand fat's flavor, but I also understand when you have turkey dinner at someone's house, family's house, whatever, and you eat, then you have that little bit of regurgitation later, and what is it? That's just the grease from the gravy. That's all, and that's what I found out over the years. I eat a lot. Look at me, my gosh. But I found that out, and I just thought, well, what if I took the fat out of it? And you're not going to sacrifice in the gravy because, again, it's what you put in that gravy for additional spice or whatever, which I keep mine pretty basic from what it is. Like, you'd be astonished.
Basic
but
is best sometimes.
you don't try to reinvent the wheel. Like, gravy doesn't need time in it. Like, that's just stupid.
Throw some oregano in
Yeah,
your gravy.
it just doesn't need that. Sometimes just keeping it original, and it's like, I remember eating this when.
Yeah.
And that will bring people back, I think.
Absolutely.
Whew. That was a crazy question.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I said, people love their business, so they're like, yes, like, let me tell you all of the things.
Yeah.
I love it. Perfect. So, my next question, you kind of already bounced around a couple of these, but what's your absolute favorite part of your job?
Probably seeing smiles on people's face when they eat my food.
That's heartwarming. I like that.
Yeah.
It's nice and warm. And
Yeah.
I can totally appreciate that. First time you bite into a sandwich, like, I'm a very hangry person.
Right.
Don't tell my husband. I'm sure he doesn't know yet. But I have such a nice, settling feeling the first time you take a bite of your meal, and it's just like seeing that so many times a day would just be so nice.
Yeah.
I love that.
The proof to that is, I do it here all the time. So someone's coming in, they've ordered something for the first time, or I've made up some sort of freestyle dish. I do a lot of that too, where my regulars will come in and just say, whatever, Jake, just make something up, and it's totally off menu, and we'll guess at the price. But
Those are wild people.
but what I do is I'll bring out like nachos to somebody. Never had them here, heard lots about it, so I'll bring out the nachos. I'll actually open up the thing. I said, try one, because I know they're leaving with it, and I'm only doing it selfish because I'm only doing it because I need to know if it's good for them. And it's like, oh my God, this is so good. Perfect, wrap it up, get out of here.
Yeah. Okay, now you can leave.
But I do that a lot, and I'll show people their food.
Yeah.
Especially in takeout, I'll say, do you want to see? And I get excited. I am excited because I know it looks good, or I wouldn't want to show them first of all.
Exactly.
But I'll let them look, and just because I get that satisfaction of just seeing a smile on their face.
So selfish of you.
I know.
Right? Perfect. So, how else can we support you? Obviously, like coming in, buying your food. Do you do any like Uber, Skip, anything like that?
No, I don't. They want me to. Obviously,
I'm sure they do.
They want everybody to. Again, it just. We have a delivery service that you just call here. You can order online at phillycheesejakes.com, and
Awesome.
we do have a delivery service. We've been starting to talk more with On the Dog, another local delivery service.
Yeah.
And I just, with them, with, you know, the Uber and
The big
Skip
ones,
and DoorDash and that, the amount of money they take out of the restaurant is just astronomical.
Criminal.
And what I find horrifying is, and I actually got, yesterday I got an email from Skip. He called me on the back end of a lunch rush. And I'm thinking, you're a restaurant business. Now, he was from Manitoba, I think he said.
Okay, so might be
So it could have been a time change, but if they're even an hour behind, that means he would have been calling me at the start of my lunch rush. So that didn't really swing well for me, first of all. But secondly, in the email he mentioned, I know we have a cost for our business, blah, 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 blah. All you have to do is increase your skip prices so the customer pays your increase. And I'm like, I want my customers to know that Philly Cheesesteaks has high quality food at really good prices, and our portions are phenomenal.
That's part of the selling point, right?
Like, if you can't go onto an app and think for yourself, I want Philly Cheesesteaks and I don't see it on here, I'm just gonna call them.
Yeah.
You know, then my loss, because I'm not marketing well enough. I think I do a good job, but I'm not as busy as all the other places in town, and I don't claim to be as busy. I'm busy for a one-man show.
Yep. Anymore, you might need to be a bitch.
Well, exactly. But if I got Skip, then automatically, if they increase my business, which it should and could, be just because of the marketing that they do.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden I have to hire somebody else. So that one person, I have to pay them about $20 an hour. So then it comes down to the financials. So now, once I pay them $20 an hour and I pay 25% of my food costs, or the cost of what I'm selling it, so 25 goes into that. You have your food costs on top of that. Like, I'm making 20%, 30% of the profit at that point. And then...
And you don't get to see people.
Well, you don't get to see people, so it takes away what I want to do a little bit.
Yeah.
But more importantly, that one person better bring me $100, $150 an hour.
Yeah.
In order for me to justify it, because now I'm going to be busier. And so it's just, I'm kind of stuck in that little area right now where...
I think doing the locals, like the On the Dot one, might be a nice compromise.
And On the Dot, I've used their service like when I'm not here, obviously. And you know what? Their delivery people they're really nice. They're really cordial. They come up. They're not miserable at their job.
What? Never.
Yeah. It's just like you don't feel like you're putting them out.
Yeah.
And you know,
that's a really big thing. Like that's like even in that side of customer service, right? Like these other services have become so big boxy that they'll hire anybody.
Well, there's no customer service. They don't have a boss, right?
Yeah.
They just they show up and they're busy. They sit at a Tim Hortons or 7 deep.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, come on, come on. They're worried about their money, and then they rush and they go. And
yeah, I've been lucky. We live very central to most of the restaurants that we frequent, so we're pretty lucky on that front. But I have friends that live out like Camlap area, and that's like not ideal. At that point, it's much better to just come in, have your nice little conversation with your favorite restaurant, get your stuff and go.
Yeah.
It's
We've tried to do delivery out in those areas like Wyoming and Bryce Grove. Kentucky was kind of a push the one time. And it's when we have one driver, so there's two things. When we have one driver, he's gone or she's gone for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Whether I like it or not. So now all of a sudden if I get another couple orders, especially at supper time, right? And then it's like, oh, it's gonna be an hour and a half. I want to be known as the place where I called Philly Cheesesteaks and I was eating 20 minutes later. And just, sorry I had to cook it and you had to drive. You know, like 20 minutes is not a long time to ask for a delivery service. I get it that the other places are busy and they can justify it's going to be an hour and a half. Are you okay with that? Yeah, no, I understand. You guys are swamped, and I get that.
Yeah.
But I still want to be known as I'm small enough to be known as that, and that goes along with my customer
Which
service.
is appealing in itself, right?
Yeah.
Like that's big. What can I eat now? Like this place is going to be an hour and a half. This is
I'm
gonna be
starved.
Like,
Yeah,
I
what
want to
can I
eat now.
And that's the good thing. Like if you come into the store,
Yeah.
people called last night, and I was busy, but if I'm too busy, I won't answer the phone. But very rarely,
Fair enough. Yeah.
I answer the phone, and I'll tell them 4 minutes, 3 minutes, because if I'm busy cooking something, and they're probably going to get a Philly or they're probably going to get a pulled pork, well, I'm busy cooking it. My menu isn't too large that I
That's
have to
another thing
dump
about
everything
right?
upside down.
Yeah.
You know, it's big enough that I'm probably already cooking something.
Yeah.
And if
Just throw another one. Like start it
if
right.
3 people order a Philly at the same time and they all have mushrooms, onions, peppers on it, I probably put enough for 4 because I know someone's going to walk in. Or if not, when it's cooked, I can set it, keep it warm until you get the next call because you generally have an idea of what you're going to be able to do.
Yeah. You got your main sellers and stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Love it. So, again, you already answered this kinda. So, what is the last local or small business that you personally supported?
Cup of coffee next door yesterday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had lunch. Cup of coffee. They've got amazing food over there.
Oh,
like
yeah.
if anybody's like, honestly, it's like that old diner style.
It's very homey.
Yeah.
You could actually go and sit, but
Yeah, absolutely. But their food's good. Their portions are great. You get, I think, so we ordered like two club sandwiches, and
you got the warm sandwiches, they got the cold.
yeah.
It's great.
Well, you got rice pudding, soup, coleslaw, the club with fries. For 2 of them were like $29.
What?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
outstanding. It's a great deal. Like with me owning a restaurant, when I go to places, like, come on, you can't be charging me $15 for a burger.
You know the prices.
Like, I don't.
Can't trick you.
Yeah, like I'm just like, I get it. Everybody's got to make some money, but I don't have to give you all the extra money. Like at some point, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't really go to like, I'll have pizza and stuff like that. Of course, it's a quick and easy. My friend Angelo with Vagos, just moving locations and whatnot. He's like super sweet, and I called actually last week. I called him, and it was right near closing time. He picks up the phone, Vagos, we're closed, like that, and I was like, Angelo, it's Jake. Can I come and pick something up? Oh shit, man.
Yeah.
And so
Strong armed him.
But
with friendship.
What was nice about him was his customer service was so on point because he went from, and he was busy. He was busy. And
He's always busy.
yeah, and he went from basically being closed to making sure that I could even get delivery. He said, Jake, I'll call on the dot for you, and I will make sure that we get it delivered to you. Okay, bud? And I said, yeah, absolutely. Perfect. Thank you. And so he was really so cool about that. And I think someone else getting that phone call, we're closed. People are going to hang up and say, oh, that guy's no, you don't understand how busy that guy is.
Yeah.
Like you're calling, you know.
It's always people who haven't worked in these sort of industries
Absolutely.
that don't get it.
Well, you just don't understand 100%. And it's okay not to understand, but don't be miserable until you find out. Like, don't be mad at someone.
Yeah.
I was short with someone the other day on the phone. They called at 5:30. 5:30, between 4:30 and 6 is really busy here for me. And they called at 5:30.
Call in advance.
Yes. But they called, and I answered my phone, Philly cheesesteaks, what do you know? And it throws a lot of people off because I'm asking them a question. I'm not, Philly cheesesteaks, how can we help you? And then you get into the normal stuff. Again, it's something about this place that, what do you know? Well, I don't know much, Jake.
That's a friendship response. Like, that's how you pick up
It's
your
like
friends.
an Eastern Seaboard gangster thing. When I was opening, I was trying to Americanize a little bit, some nostalgia from the Eastern Seaboard because it was, first kind of populated as it went west, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the 20s and 30s is a really cool era for me. And Philly and Philly cheesesteaks, and it's like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, what do you know? What do you know
Yeah.
today? And so it's just kind of like one of those things. How do you say hello without saying welcome? Hi, folks. You know, the same old,
How may I
same
serve
old.
you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, what do you know? Like, it's pretty laid back here, and you'll see. We'll bicker back and forth. If I have a couple of my friends help me if I get swamped, sort of thing.
Good
And-
friends to have.
Absolutely. And we'll, like, there's not outright fights, but it's like, dude, get out of my way. Like, and
Anybody who's worked anywhere near a kitchen, that's a fact.
it's
just
an
a
open
fact.
it's an open kitchen too. Like, I mean, you hear everything and whatever's going on back there, and you see everything, and I'm okay with that.
You are who you
But
are.
yeah, but it's all part of Philly cheesesteaks. It's part of that experience, and there's not a lot of places that would put their neck on the line to have people rate them and have people, you know, put that up for. I've come out when I'm cooking someone's Philly before, and I pre-COVID,
Yep.
obviously, but I've come out and I've sat and talked to them for a bit. Like, and first thing out of my mouth, oh, this is the part where your cook's usually out the back door having a smoke right now while your stuff's cooking.
It's very true.
And it's like, oh, I never thought of that. Like, no, but
what are
it's,
you gonna do with that?
if it's
Done.
not overly busy, like, they're not just gonna sit there and, you know, they're not gonna wait for it. They're gonna go
Yeah.
do something. Oh, I'll get the smoke in because we're gonna get busy or whatever.
Yeah.
They come back, they wash up, they do their things. It's not a hygiene thing, but I'll come out and I'll talk to people for a bit. Then one time a guy says, he goes, "You think that'd be cooked by now?" I go, "Oh, don't worry, the vegetables are on the bottom. They're steaming the meat. You're okay." Like that, and I know how long it takes everything. Like, I've
Hey,
done enough
you've done this once or
sandwiches.
twice.
Exactly. So I can tell. I can tell when my roast is done just from the smell in the store.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even have to time. I have a general idea. Obviously, it takes
Yeah.
X amount of hours to cook a full roast, and but I just know. By the smell of it. Yesterday it was 20 minutes early. Then I checked and the oven was running about 25 degrees hotter, and I said, "Oh, that's why."
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I didn't know. It was one of those
Kind
things.
of smell it in the air.
Just smell it in the air. And it's
Should
like,
check on
yeah,
that.
That's burnt. That's burnt.
I'm sure you've had at least one of those.
Yeah.
Everybody has.
Yeah. One
those
is
are
a bad
those
one.
are bad smells to get rid of.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I think that's
okay.
the worst part about it. You can smell it for a day later, and it's just reminding you of the shame.
Yeah, for sure.
I've worked in kitchens before, and I am familiar.
You get it,
Unfortunately,
you get
I
it.
do.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I'm very happy to hear. I always love to hear where people go and where people support, and it's always different. Everybody's always got their little picks that they love, and it's so nice because, well, then you're their pick, right?
Right.
Like, it's
Yeah.
nice to hear like, oh, like that's my pick. So I love sharing that with people because it makes them feel good too, obviously.
Right.
So, if you could have one wish in the world for someone else, what would it be?
One wish in the world for someone else.
It could be whoever you want, whatever you want, but it cannot be for you. It's a tricky one.
It is, but see, my only, and this might answer it because it's kind of for someone else. My one wish in the world would be if I could have aside from money, like, let's be honest, but my one wish in the world would be for 24 hours of world peace and happiness.
That's a good one. And that is for someone else.
And
It's for everybody else.
It's for everybody else.
Yeah.
And I just think that'd be cool.
How nice would it be to wake
Like,
up
just
and have
'cause-
no problems?
Just no news. There's no news today because news is always negative news, right? You watch the news, there's 20 minutes of negativity, and we expect people to be happy. How? When you're feeding them negativity.
I will never understand the appeal of like sitting down and watching the news. It's heartbreaking. It's sad.
Yeah.
I mean, once in a while you get a cute animal doing something.
But that's
fun
at the
trick.
20-minute mark. I've given you 20 minutes
Yeah.
of, and then even worse, I'm a
Make sure
Leaf
you're
fan.
still paying attention.
I'm a Leaf fan, so when it gets to the sports,
Oh,
they
yeah.
lost. You know, so but
Constant bad news.
yeah, they give you 20 minutes of pure negativity, and then we ask ourselves about mental health, and that's a big bubble, I get,
Yeah.
But what about those people that are sitting on the fence post and whatnot? And it's just like they had just a crap day. It's just the day was horrible, but they're kind of a positive person. And I'm just gonna stay here, and guess what? I get to go to bed in 2 hours, 3 hours.
It's exciting.
I watch the
Good part of
news.
the day.
I watch the news, and it's just like, wow, that happened, that happened, that happened, and it's just like you just push them over to the other side of the fence of negativity. Now you go to bed, you sleep like crap, you wake up, you're not good. And not maybe just for that news, but it's just a snowball effect, I think.
Totally. And it
So,
kind of pushes you over. Even those, like, nobody in the world can say that they haven't had those days where it's just not a great day and that one little thing will just push you over.
Yep.
And it can be the news, it can be, you caught your pants on your doorknob. I've had that before.
Right.
I think that always happens when you're mad. I think
Yeah.
that's just how it is.
I got a coat that hangs onto my mirror.
Yeah.
It's son of a,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it always happens when you're upset. And
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those.
It's the universe saying relax.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have ripped your pocket right off.
24 hours without that.
Yeah.
I could do.
Yeah.
Right? So, my next little piece of the interview is my favorite part. It's kind of getting to know people's humor. So, I do a little game. It's called $1 Million But. It's essentially like a would you rather. So, I'll give you two options, and it's going to be $1 million but A or B, and you have to pick what option is better for $1 million.
Okay.
Now, they're pretty gross most of the time,
Okay.
so it's funny.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right. So your first option is $1 million, but every time you accidentally burn yourself, your socks become damp. Or $1 million, but whenever you smell something pleasant, you have to eat the last thing you touched. May not necessarily be that pleasant smell.
What was that first one again?
Every time you accidentally burn yourself, your socks become damp.
So I would be okay with that. Is that what you want?
Yeah. So which is the better option?
Well, that would be. Because it's just damn socks. If I burn myself.
How often do you burn yourself?
Not often.
Right.
I'm really cautious. I'm like,
Great.
I'm a coward. And like damn socks, I don't even wear socks. So.
Well, your socks in your drawer are damp now.
Okay.
You don't wear socks.
Now my
you're
boxers are damp. Hang on, this question.
Yeah,
gave me
this
this
is
one
that
thing.
question now.
So I would say that one would probably be.
I totally think the opposite.
Really?
I don't know. Because the last thing that you touched could be whatever smelled good, but not necessarily.
I just scratched my nose. I would have had to eat my nose. That's crunchy.
Yeah, you're
Like-
right. You're right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, damn socks.
Yeah,
Okay.
damn socks. You gotta go with damn socks because it's like you can
Yeah.
change them.
That's true.
Like just.
Yeah.
It didn't say you have to live in them
That's
for a
true.
year. Now, if you
You're
wanted,
right.
if you said you have to wear damn socks for a week,
I don't think you'd be going to the hospital.
yeah. Well, you'd have some fungal thing going probably.
Yeah. Shut down by the healthcare.
Yeah.
For you personally,
Squish,
not for
squish,
your
squish,
restaurant. Your
squish.
restaurant's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
You, not
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
That'd
So
be
let's
gross.
go damn socks.
Okay.
Okay.
$1 million for damn socks concludes our interview.
Perfect.
I love it to get on that happy note.
Yeah.
The happy note of what gross thing would you accept for $1 million?
Right.
But it's a good one.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I'll do that.
Right?
Yeah.
It's good. Well, thank you so much for joining
Thank
me
you.
today. I joined you actually.
You did. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been excellent to meet you.
Thanks.
And for all of you that are interested in Jake's services and sandwiches and his counseling and all else that he offers.
Hot sauce.
Hot sauce too. I'm not a hot sauce person. I'm a wimp. It's okay. I accept it. I was telling Jake earlier, I eat mild salsa and I'm sitting over here like like dying. But if you like hot sauce, he's a guy to know. I will attach all of his contact information, all of his social media links, everything that you could possibly want to know, how to get a hold of this guy, and get a hold of some great food.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you anyway.
Okay, it's still recording. I have to
Okay.
go.
Ah,
I know.
thank you.